Good morning, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Sunday night dinner vlog that I dropped on the same day as this video, because we did a Sunday night dinner. We haven't done one in a really long time, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna vlog about it because we have been doing really good about getting content out. But also, Stephanie and I are both on, I think I talked about this a little bit in a previous video, a health journey. I'm down 14 pounds. Thank you very much. I have a long way to go to where I want to be, but it's not just about pounds for me. I'm going on a European trip this summer. I want to be comfortable walking for like long periods of time on cobblestone, up hills. So it's more for me like health. But yeah, super stoked about that. We did a really fun like Mediterranean night. It was super good. We did a little bit of naan, like we portioned out our naan and hummus, and then we just had grilled meat and veggies with it, and it was to die for. If you guys like that, I'm happy to share some more videos on what I'm kind of doing to lose this weight and keep it off. Just small changes that I'm making. But what are we here for? We are here to talk about Grady Hendrix's The Final Girl Support Group. And my feelings about it, right? Because I have feelings about it. Going into the book, I didn't know anything about it. It was on Book Talk. Somebody was like, I love this book. If you love horror or thriller, I love this book. And so I hearted the TikTok. I have like a Libby library list of books that I, kind of put on hold or whatever. This one had a long hold. I think I put it back on hold in like August or September. It is now March. It dropped at the end of February. And I was like, it's got a really long hold. It must be good. I get about 3 chapters into this book. And the name like Grady Hendrix, I don't know why I didn't think it was a guy. I just really didn't put that much thought into it, the author. So I get about 3 chapters into this book, maybe 4, so very early on in the book there's a statement. And I remember being like, what? And screenshotting it, because I was reading it on my phone, on my Kindle app, and highlighting the sentence and sending it to a friend and being like, is this suspicious to you? Is this sentence weird to you? It's a book about a group of women, and the sentence was, the main character, Lynette, is talking to a male character, and there's another female character in the room. And she makes this, like, the narrator type situation. It wasn't even anybody making the statement, but, like, the narration of the book was, like, Robert, or whatever the guy's name was probably wishing he was talking to men so he could talk to them like adults, or something like that. I might drop the screenshot in here, just because I want to, like, make sure I know what I'm talking about. But it was enough to make me say, what? What? That's unusual. Like, why is this author saying that women can't be talked to like adults? So I paused the book and I started doing my research. And found out that Grady Hendrix is a guy who writes a lot of books about women. And that's okay with me for the most part. Not crazy about it. I definitely prefer my female characters to be written by female authors and my male characters to be written by male authors type of situation. I mean, hey, J.R. Ward writes the Black Dagger Brotherhood brilliantly. So I'm not like hating on somebody writing characters of different sex, but this is a book that really is about girl power and femininity and that kind of thing. Like, that's what I think the book was going for, was the power of your like girl group, your friendships. And it missed on a lot of notches for me. And I think that the biggest thing was Grady Hendrix, being an adult male, didn't know how to write adult female relationships. He didn't. Or doesn't, because he has other books that are primarily female characters. The Southern Woman's Guide to Vampire Hunting or something like that is another one of his books. So, about halfway through the book, so the main character's name is Lynette, and the premise of this whole thing is that these women were the last girls, like, surviving these crazy traumatic killing experiences. And, you know, sometimes movies have been made about them, like Halloween's and Texas Chainsaw Massacres and things like that. But for the most part, they're just a group of women, and Lynette is extremely, like, has a lot of phobias. She, like, lives in a prison that she's built herself kind of thing. She's turned her apartment into, like, gates and things and locks, and she's very scared that the killers are still trying to get her. And then the other women kind of have moved on a little bit, as it's been a while since their situations, but they still have, like, a therapy group. And so the other women have kind of moved on more with their lives than Lynette has, until something happens that brings it all to head, and they are back being hunted. That's the premise of the novel. Lynette was a really difficult character for me, though, the main character, for a couple of reasons. One, in the beginning, I kind of got her. She was very phobic. She was very anxious. I have anxiety. I 100% understand. If it was not for my husband and my daughter, I am one step away from being like a doomsday prepper, you guys. That's how much anxiety I have. So I, in the beginning, really understood Lynette's character. And then there was, like, a shooting in her apartment, like a shootout situation, and one of the other final girls gets shot. And she kind of leaves her because she's got to go in hiding and find a new hiding place because her apartment isn't safe anymore. And she just leaves her bleeding on the floor. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense. Like, when you're somebody with as much anxiety as I have, you're not going to save a friend, probably. I mean, I feel like, I hope I would in a ridiculous situation, but I also know me, and I know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get myself safe. So I understood that reaction. Where I started to have an issue was when she all of a sudden started making very different choices by the middle of the novel in order to feed the novel's plot. We have her just a few chapters later breaking a woman out of a hospice situation and taking her with her so that she could die, like, not in a hospice thing, but in the back of her brain she knows she's being hunted by this point. And I don't feel like I, as an anxious person, would take the time to get myself into all these other situations. Like, she starts becoming like a savior, a hero, and it just wasn't enough groundwork for me to get her from that point of the anxious person who thinks somebody is after her and is only thinking about herself to the hero out there trying to save all her friends. There wasn't enough bridge between that for me. It really just jumped. One moment her brain was just like, no, I have to save everyone else. And that wasn't good for me. Like, I started skimming by that point because I was like, what? That's not at all what Lynette would do. I did like the ending, like, where they ended up with, who the actual person that was, like, hunting the girls. I thought that was well done. It turned out to be, like, Stockholm Syndrome type situation. It was very good. I liked the ending, but that was about it. The entire middle was extremely strange. I guess it's the best way to describe it for me, because especially with the main character was extremely making decisions that previously how this character was developed would not have made. Also, there was an addict that was in the group, and she ended up, like, making a bunch of selfless decisions by the end that came out of nowhere and were not at all in character for what this character would have done. I'm all for character development, but not when you don't put in the legwork, not when you're not putting in the time and the grind to get to better decisions. It is allergy season in Georgia. I apologize. Yeah, you can't just jump from a selfish, anxious person to a hero with absolutely little to no middle. It just doesn't work. You are therefore now changing the character to fit your plot. And that's just kind of how I felt about it. There were a lot of problems with this book. It felt rushed in parts and slow in parts. Like, it felt like we were taking forever. There was a lot of detours. Like, I still don't quite understand why they broke the one woman out of hospice for her to die in a park. Like, that seemed really strange to me, what they were doing. So, and for it to be such a pivotal moment for Lynette, your main character, because all of a sudden she's making less selfish decisions. There was no reason for it. It didn't make any sense to me. So, yeah. Final girl support group. Lots of problems for me. The ending was decent. I will give it that. I liked how they washed everything out at the end, but everything leading up just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Was very confuddled. Uncharacteristic choices being made by the characters, and parts that were almost borderline insulting to women. So, yeah, that is my problematic review of the Final Girl Support Group. If you loved it, please comment down below why you loved it. Tell me what was so good about it that maybe I missed. Maybe I need to go back and reread it with a different frame of mind. But if you agree with me, please let me know, because I feel like I might be the only one out here hating this book, because it's all over Book Talk, and I'm like, I don't get it. It's another one that was on Book Talk that I just don't get. Thought I was going to get a lot of hate for not loving the Spanish love deception. It was super slow, and then the last 20 to 30% of the Spanish love deception was good. But before that 20 to 30%, I thought it was terrible. Too slow of a burn. So, yep. I guess I'm just out here not loving the Book Talk books lately. But let me know what you thought, especially if you read the Final Girl Support Group. I really, really, really want to know some other people's opinions on this one. So let me know down below. If you haven't, please like, subscribe, join the community that I'm building here, where we love to talk about books, even when we don't like them, even when they're problematic. We still want to go into it with an open mind and say, did you like it? Tell me why you liked it. I love you guys so, so much. And have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. Mwah!